everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm bringing you my first impressions on October's Monochrome Manga Club selections. Those selections were My Senpai is Annoying by Shiro Manta. This one is published by 7 Seas and is rated teen. And Dimension W. This one is by Yuji Iwahara, published by Yan Press, rated teen. We also read volumes 1 and 2 of Parasyte by Hitoshi Iwaaki. We have started a series read, so I will be talking about those 2 volumes in this one, just because they are at the beginning of the series. But for future installments in our series read, I will only be wrapping those up in my end of the month monthly wrap-up. So just yesterday, as of the day I am filming this, we had our manga club meeting and it was really great. We really seemed to enjoy most of the selections as a whole, like club. There was some great discussion and I'm really looking forward to talking with them again next month. But let me give you my thoughts on these selections, and then at the end of the video I'll let you know what we will be reading for the month of October in case you're interested in reading along with us. So first up, let's talk about My Senpai is Annoying by Shiro Manta. This is a story about a couple of office workers, and basically this woman here finds her senpai annoying, and that's basically it. I mean, he, will stave off people from hitting on her when she's drunk, and he, kind of, does, I would say, more, brotherly type things, if you will. Like, you can see that he's, messing up her hair, and she's obviously ticked off. But he does that kind of stuff, and so this volume explores her and him a little bit, trying to figure out what their feelings actually are towards each other, because even though she finds him annoying, some of the things that he does are very sweet. And so I really enjoyed this volume. It wasn't a series that I had thought to pick up myself until just recently, which is why I ended up choosing it as a manga club selection. I don't think our manga club really had great thoughts when I had brought this one up as a selection, because most of them are younger. I'd say we have maybe one that's in his very early 20s. And then we had a new person come who's also in his early 20s. But they were not too impressed when I brought this one up. Nonetheless, most of them enjoyed it. They thought it was cute. I was very impressed by this episode installment. This one has a lot more color than most. So when it first started out, I thought, okay, we've just started the volume. Most mangas have color pages inside, but then we get just a little bit of color here and there. It's still mostly black and white, but there's a lot more color in there, which really drew my interest. I thought the story was really sweet. I had gone into this thinking that the male character, I don't even remember his name, Takeda Harumi, had known what his feelings were towards our main character, whose name is Igarashi Futaba. But that turns out not to be the case. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how this series progresses. It's definitely one that I'm going to be continuing. In fact, spoiler alert for my manga haul, I did end up picking up a few more volumes of this because I really enjoyed this one, and will definitely be continuing. So the next single volume that we picked up was Dimension W by Yuji Iwahara. This one follows a collector whose name is Kyoma Mabuchi, and he basically makes a living by recovering illegal coils for other people. But he is not a user of these coils. He's very old school. He wants to have nothing to do with these coils, but it's what makes his living. So this volume kind of follows him going on a job for somebody to collect these coils, and he ends up procuring this robot whose name is Mira. And this will kind of, as the story progresses, unlock some secrets, and it has something to do with connecting to Dimension W, which none of that was in this volume, just so that you know. But I enjoyed this one, but it put me to sleep 3 times. Normally I can read a volume of manga in one sitting, and that's what I normally do, but 3 times I picked this up, and 3 times it put me to sleep. I am not quite sure what it is about the story, but I do find the concept of it very interesting, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open when I was reading it. And it's not because I was tired either. I don't know. I mean, obviously something is telling me that something wasn't connecting with me on this story. I did think immediately off the bat when I first opened this volume that the main character design reminded me of the main character in Cowboy Bebop, which is another anime that I've only watched a few episodes of, and not even like consecutive episodes. I've watched episodes here and there, but hasn't been a series that I have watched fully. But immediately I thought, oh, that guy looks like the guy from Cowboy Bebop. And then later on in the series, there's another character who's introduced who looks like one of the other characters that's in Cowboy Bebop, and I thought, that's just too uncanny. And then when my daughter read this one, she thought one of the character designs reminded her of Izanagi from Persona 4. And so right there's already 3 things that are kind of, to me, being borrowed from other series. And then there's mention of Central 47, which if you've watched Bleach or know of Bleach, there's a Central 46 in there, so that was uncanny as well. But yeah, the cover's cool. The manga club people told me it glows in the dark, which is something that I had not known, but if you feel the cover, you can feel that there's definitely a difference in texture where the glow in the dark like yellow is. So that was interesting. I do find the concept of this story interesting. So I think what I'm going to be doing is switching over to the anime instead of continuing with the manga, because like I said, the concept to me is very interesting. This one does have color pages in the middle of the volume, which I thought was surprising. So like you can see, we're about here in the manga and there's color pages. But yeah, I liked it, but I'm going to switch over the anime because I think that's going to hit me better. And let's hope I can keep my eyes open when I'm watching it. And so that does it for the singular volumes. And then we started our brand new series read. So we have started Parasyte by Hitoshi Iwaaki. We read volumes 1 and 2. I have these digitally through a Humble bundle, and so I've thrown up pictures here for you to see. But this one basically follows an invasion of parasites. They're basically mechanical worms, or that's kind of what they look like when they arrive on the planet, and then they invade human bodies. And this one particular parasite that we're following has failed to invade his host body completely. So he was supposed to have gone up into the host's brain and I believe ate it. I believe that's what they said. but instead he gets stuck in the host's arm. And so the story follows the parasite and the host kind of trying to learn to live with each other, and then at the same time trying to avoid other people who have been taken over by the parasites because of the way that the parasite failed to invade his host completely. He's not perceived as someone who should be left alive by the other parasites. So you do see some fighting between our parasite and his host and other parasites who have completely taken over their hosts. You also get to meet some of the parasites who also failed to take over their hosts, as well as parasites who invaded the wrong type of host. So I found the story to be very, very interesting. There were some surprising things that happened. I have a little bit of trouble with this one, not like fully believing what's going on, because my mind is constantly thinking, okay, wait, that can't happen. Like, but if that's the case, then what if this? And things like that. So sometimes I was getting pulled out of the story just because of that. And it's a big reason why I don't read a lot of contemporary type of stories, especially ones that have these types of like fantastical elements. And so yeah, there were definitely some times where I was like, wait, that doesn't work. Like, how is that gonna work? That can't work. And things like that. But all in all, I really did enjoy this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. When I had first heard about this series, I thought, oh, that's definitely not going to be something that I'm interested in. I have seen the little snippet of like the thing that shows up on Netflix, you know, when you are looking through their catalog and it shows a little bit of a preview. I did see that it was on Netflix, and when the little thing came up, I was like, oh, I don't think that's something I'm going to want to get into. But I really, really enjoyed this story, and I'm looking forward to continuing it with the club. I think a lot of the members in the club were really interested as well. The person who had suggested it has already watched the anime, but I don't think the rest of us have. So it's a fresh story for all of us. It's definitely dated. You could definitely tell how old this manga was just by some of the things that was being said. This is a refreshed Del Rey publication put out by Kodansha, so it has all of the translator's notes from when it was published by Del Rey, explaining why they made certain changes to the text and things like that, and I thought that was really interesting as well. Some of the social commentary by the mangaka in the back in the Q&A section I didn't quite agree with, but that being said, I really did enjoy this one. I was very surprised. I'm looking forward to completing this one. Also, because it's part of a Humble Bundle that I bought not for this title, that's an extra bonus. So, that's pretty much all I have to say on those volumes. If you have read these volumes, let me know what you thought of them down in the comments below, but please, no spoilers. And now I'll let you know what we will be reading for October. So obviously, we will be reading volumes 3 and 4 of Parasyte, because we are doing a series read. But we will also have our 2 individual selections. So we will be reading volume 1 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. This one's by Aida Ito, published by Yen Press, rated teen, which follows the urban legend of Hanako. And then we will be reading volume 1 of Servamp by Strike Tanaka, published by 7 Seas and rated teen. This one's about a boy who likes to keep things simple, finds a cat ends up not being a cat but a vampire, and his life gets complicated. And so I have already seen the anime for this one, so I'm looking forward to experiencing this story from its source material. And then this one was definitely something that I wasn't intending on picking up, but I'd recently heard someone talk about it so favorably, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was because it was one of those autoplay videos on my YouTube. But she talked about it so favorably, I said, okay, I'm going to try it out. And so we decided that we will also be reading this one for club, and I am super excited. So those will be the 2 volumes plus volumes 3 and 4 of Parasyte. And so that is pretty much all I have to say on this episode of the Monochrome Manga Club First Impressions. So let me know down in the comments below if you will be joining in on our reads in October, or if you have nothing else to say to me but would like to let me know that you are here. Please leave me a jack-o'-lantern emoji down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye!